You're muted, honey. I can't hear you.
Okay, thank
There
you.
you are.
Hello, everybody. After unmuting myself, let me redo my intro. So, welcome to Business and Life Insights. And I have the pleasure today of introducing you to Catherine Bell, a very accomplished woman, very energetic, and someone you all should want to know if you haven't met her already. So, today, the podcast is essential for anyone aiming to transform their financial future while making a positive impact on society. Catherine Bell is a distinguished author and CEO of Titan Impact Group. She'll share her expertise on impact investing, providing listeners with invaluable insights to align with their financial goals and personal values. So, Catherine, let's tell people a little bit about yourself.
I love it. So first of all, thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this like for weeks now that we've planned this plan. So really excited and super excited to share this with everybody because of who you are. Um, so how far back in the story do you want me to go?
Oh, this why not? That's as far back as you think would be appropriate or that you would like.
So I like to share my story because I feel like it gives people permission to look at their journey and all the things that led to wherever it is that they're at today. So I'm actually Canadian. I was born to a teenage mother up in northern Canada, and that journey, I was in and out of more homes than you can possibly count, and went to 13 different schools, and didn't actually learn till I was to read till I was in the eighth grade. But I got straight A's because I learned very quickly as a child that. They didn't want you to think, they just wanted you to get the right answer. And I figured out how to do that. And that actually served me later in life. And that's why a piece of why I share this. And so I went on, I ended up raising my brothers, got them adopted by their fathers. And then I went on and got myself adopted when I was 16.
Mhm.
And I did that because I knew the trajectory I was on was a terrible trajectory. And it literally saved my life. And I'm forever grateful for that. And that plays a huge part into the impact investing. So fast forward, I ended up meeting my husband and we got married in 2001. He was American and came to this country when I was 26 with nothing. and took his dream, turned it into a multi-million-dollar company. And so I was a millionaire by the time I was 30. So it's a huge part of the reason, like the whole American dream, I love that. Like if you have a dream and you work really, really hard, you really do have the opportunity to make things happen. And we went on to eventually, we couldn't have children, so we adopted our own children out of the foster care system. So given my whole experience, and then, obviously completing the loop by adopting a boy and a girl, they were babies when we got them. And we went on and sold our company. And then it was shortly after that, the recession happened. And then my husband got super sick. And so having that one stream of income disappeared obviously impacted our family in a negative way, to the point where when my husband got really sick, it forced me to have to go back to work and provide for our family. So I did what I needed to do, and put on my big girl panties and got to work. And so I was working 80 hours a week, and then coming home and taking care of my sick husband, taking care of my twins, and burning the candle at both ends, and realizing like this isn't it, and there's no way I'm going to be able to sustain this. And so that's what actually got me into investing. So the I realized inside of that, because we had one stream of income when we sold that company, it was gone, that the average millionaire had 7 streams of passive income. And so I was like, okay, so how do they do that? And I had to like dig in and figure that out. And so I got into buy and hold, and we did that, and then discovered I didn't like tenants and toilets. And then I did some wholesaling, and then I ran a program here in Arizona called the Flipping Females, where we partnered with women and we taught them how to flip houses. We flipped about 500 properties here, and then went on and started my hedge fund, and we did vacation rentals. Turns out I don't like guests and toilets either. And then did some residential development, commercial development, and so creating multiple streams of income. And then in 2018, my husband died unexpectedly and very tragically.
Mm.
But this time I had created 13 streams of passive income for my family. So I learned from the first time, did it differently the second time. Now, I didn't plan for him to die,
No.
but it happened. And those 13 streams of income allowed for me to take a year off and grieve and do the intense emotional work I needed to do for myself and my twins, and figure out what I was going to do. And through that process, really discovered that life is too short to only be chasing money. And so I ended up shutting all of it down, and I formed my company, Titan Impact Group. And we focus on every single project that we do must leave every person, property, and community better than we found them. At the
Wow.
end of the day, that's what it matters. Like if I can't make an impact and what we're doing doesn't make an impact, it's not really worth it. And so that's what we focus on. And the other piece is, the reason I share my journey is because I want I want all people to really understand that you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into one type of investment. So what I mean by that is, like, I didn't just stop at buy and hold, or I didn't just stop at fixing and flipping. Like, I gave myself permission to try all these other investments. And the whole point is that I really discovered my personality and what matched for my personality and what makes my heart sing. So out of those, I've got a whole completion process that I do, and I coach people through this, and discovered that for me, at the end of the day, I love 2 things. I love to be the bank, and I love to rent dirt. That's it. Those are my things. Be the bank, rent dirt, and of course make an impact, right? And so that's what we do. And now I have a whole program where I now pay it forward. And what I mean by that is, I'm clear that all families really deserve to have financial freedom, and do that with multiple streams of income through alternative investments. So my company goes, and we are the experts in going and finding the deal, acquiring the deal, managing the deal, all of that. And our investors simply get to plug into our platform, much like playing Monopoly. So people are like, oh, this seems so hard. I'm like, have you played Monopoly? Because that's how we set it up, right? Like, you land on a space and you look up the card, and that's essentially, you log into our platform, and it's like that. You get to look at it and go, okay, so how much money is the investment? What is the investment? How much money am I going to get back? And how long is my money in for? It really is that simple, and I really want to encourage people to really understand that investing isn't actually that difficult. And so to demystify and simplify and understand that nobody cares more about your money than you. So
Mm-hmm.
you really need to be putting your money to work. And when you understand that your earned income is
Mm-hmm.
meant to buy assets that
Mm-hmm.
provide passive income, and your passive income pays for your lifestyle. But
Mm-hmm.
most people got sucked into the consumerism trap,
Mm-hmm.
and they take their earned income and they pay for their lifestyle. And then
Mm-hmm.
what's left at the end, they have no more money left at the end to buy assets to create those passive streams of income. So it's definitely a shift in thinking and priorities.
Mm-hmm.
However, the payoff in the long run is huge. So I always say, like, your future self will
Mm-hmm.
thank your current self for
Mm-hmm.
being a little bit disciplined and taking some of that earned income and buying assets so that you have passive income, because again, money is like oxygen. The more you
Yes,
have, the easier it is to breathe.
I
And
love
the more
that.
you have and the easier you can breathe, the bigger the difference in the world you can make. Right? So
Absolutely.
it's a little
Total,
bit of discipline now gives your future self huge gifts.
makes total sense. Yes, I love what you
Yeah.
said. Money's like oxygen. That is a wonderful analogy. And
Right?
so there is and there is a mind shift that has to happen. So
A huge mind shift.
how did it happen for you?
So it came through those painful lessons, right? Again, when yes, we became, worked our butts off and, became millionaires by the time I was 30. But when the company was sold and the income was gone, then what?
Mm,
Right?
mm-hmm.
So that was a huge piece of like, wait a second. And that's when I, learned that the average millionaire had 7 streams of passive income. So
Okay,
then
so
I
that
was like, okay, I need to do something different. So it was that pain. And then, obviously creating the 13 streams of passive income. And then when my husband died, seeing the benefits of creating those streams of income and now just being really clear that I want to do that for other families. Right. So, and it's a lot of personal development too, inside of what goes on in between our ears.
yes, and that's what I wanted to have people understand. Yes, it
So I
does.
have lots of homework to give people if you
Yes,
want.
yes, please, by all
So
means,
let me give you one of my first secrets. Can I do that?
please.
So this is the homework. I do a lot of reading. Yes, I have a huge library. I do a lot of reading. But this book here, every millionaire that I know, and I do know a few billionaires, they all do what I'm about to share this with you. And it's a teeny tiny little book, and it's from way back when, but the lessons are truly invaluable. So the book is called The Science of Getting Rich
Oh,
by
okay.
Wallace D. Wattles. Here's the homework. The homework and the discipline is that you read the book through once. It takes about 2 hours. It's really tiny.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the next 90 days, you read chapters 4, 7, 11, and 14 every single day for 90 days. I promise you, at the end of that 90 days, your world is going to be completely different. If you miss a day, you have to start all over again.
Uh-huh.
This really is a discipline thing. So
Okay.
4, 7, 11, and 14. And the principles in this book, they're tried, tested, and true, but it literally changes what's going on here. Because let's face it, financial literacy was never taught in our school system. And there's a whole reason for that. And that's a whole rabbit hole. So that's one thing. So it's up to us to make sure that we have that. And the whole thinking around wealth and wealth creation and all of that, it's a whole other level of thinking. So that's a huge piece of why it's not taught in schools as well. So the second piece of homework that I have for everybody is this right here. This is my
Oh,
favorite book. So it's
who
called
not?
Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. Now, here's
Okay.
the thing I want to explain. Most people get stuck in, I don't know how to do the thing. I don't know how to find the investment. I don't know how to get the money. I don't know how to, manage it, run it, whatever. What if your whole job was to find who already knew how and plug in with them so that you get the benefits and you skip the painful lessons of all of it and you just get the benefits from day one? So
Mm.
this shows up in our lives. So I want to talk to all the parents out there. Think about it. So if you're a parent,
Mhm.
most parents, they don't go out and get a teaching degree to teach their kids. They go and find a good school with the best teachers. They found who already knew how to teach their kids, right?
Mhm.
Or say our kiddos get sick.
Mhm.
that we don't get our PhD and become doctors to heal our kids. We go find who already has the PhD because they know how to heal our kids, or say even our vehicles, right? We don't become a mechanic to like
Mhm.
change the oil, tires, tune ups, anything like that. We go find who already knows how to do that. And then we plug into them, which saves us an enormous amount of time and energy. It gets done, and we continue on with our life. Investing the right way is the exact same when
Mhm.
you understand that. So you already have this skill. So I call it SRA, same rules apply. So you want to take those same rules that you already know and
Mhm.
now apply them to investing,
Mhm.
right? I
Right.
mean, that's the beauty of, well, social media and all these connections and everything that we have. We have that ability more than ever before.
Truly, yes, and
Yeah.
that's why you are the who here, and we can
I
learn
am
how.
I am a who for sure.
You
I am
are.
a who for people to be able to plug in and be the bank and rent dirt. And so when I say that, people are always like, what does that mean?
Yes, yes.
So rent dirt, let's talk about that. It's one of my
Please.
favorites. And let me tell you, there's nothing sexy about what I do. Nothing sexy or glamorous. However, it's for me as a woman and a mom, I needed certainty in that income coming in, which is why I chose these two asset classes. Because what happens is, like every single month, no matter what, it just continues to come in and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Like I needed that consistent predictability. So there's no before and after HGTV, there's no fun TV shows. Like, so we own mobile home parks.
Mhm.
We rent the dirt. We are responsible for the water, like the water, the sewer, and the electricity. That's it. Like, and what I love about that is, again, we just rent the dirt. They are responsible for the structure, so they have pride of ownership. And then
Mhm.
inside of that pride of ownership, we help cultivate and create these beautiful communities that these families get to thrive in. So that's one. I love that. And then of
Mhm.
course we bring financial literacy into
Mhm.
these parks so that we teach people like how money works
Mhm.
and where it goes, and
Mhm.
then from there teach them how to get out of debt, how to create an emergency fund, and how to create a down payment on a home. And then
Mhm.
we help them get into a home, which now, because of that, allows more families to come in and do this. And we do this over and over. And so when you understand, the second thing we invest in is commercial medical office space. Now, my investment philosophy is based on, again, because no matter who is in office, no matter if the economy is a good economy, bad economy, it doesn't matter. We will always need two things. We will always need affordable housing. We will always need medical care. So this is why I personally chose those both of those assets, and why I encourage everybody to go, and they need to go through all the different types of investments for them. And when they do that, they learn what matters to their personality and what makes their heart sing, right? So, and really understanding the economy and all the different asset classes. So that's really what we focus on inside of, again, so let me explain the being the bank piece, because this is a piece that a lot of people don't understand. So we do triple net lease commercial medical office space. So what does that mean? Triple net lease. It just means that the tenant, the medical practice that's there, they are 100% responsible for everything in the building. That's it. Like they're responsible for the whole thing. Something happens with the AC, they're responsible for it. Something happens with the electricity, they're responsible. Like everything in that building is up to them.
Mhm.
So that's and inside of that, because we own the building, we get to be the bank. Again,
Mhm. Mhm.
because the other piece is being the bank that I learned decades ago, was that when you look at any real estate investing transaction, there are multiple roles that we can play in any investing transaction. We could
Mhm.
be the buyer, the seller, contractor,
Mhm.
subcontractor, realtor, title company, attorneys, bank, like all of it. And when you look at all those positions and all the things we can be, you
Mhm.
go, okay, which one is the most secure? Again, as a mom, a widow with single with twins, I was like, okay, I'm looking for security and certainty, right? So
Right.
because of that, it's like, okay, the most secure position to be is the bank. Because if
Mhm.
anything happens to the property, at the end of the day, the bank gets it,
That's right. That's right. That's
right?
the collateral.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
that was like, okay, now how do I find deals and structure deals so that I get to rent dirt and be the bank? That's it.
Yeah.
But again, that came out of me giving myself permission to try all the different ways that all the different alternative investments.
So you've done all the trial and error, and so you're the people who connect with you can
They
take
don't
them.
have to.
No, they don't have to. You save them the
They can
pain.
just learn from my mistakes.
Oh yes, and that's a wonderful generosity of you, and where you are, you're giving back. So you're helping people, you're lifting people up.
I think it's
On,
really important too. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So tell me, how do you find your investments?
I have a really, really large network. So
Okay.
I have a lot of who's in my network that
Oh,
know how to find those and then bring them to me, and then we make the whole deal happen.
okay.
So I leverage my network in a very big way. And so we have a huge, huge team that helps make all of these happen.
Oh gosh, such synergism that's going on in your organization. But
Absolutely, because I can't do everything. It really takes all of us.
it does. Yeah, one person can't do it all, but you've gotten so many moving pieces, people who can contribute to your ecosystem of
Yep.
wealth for
Yep.
everyone. For everyone.
Yes.
How did you build your network?
Um, that's one, I think I'm a natural networker. I
Uh-huh.
don't think it's something that I learned this forever ago, is that it's better to be interested than interesting. So
Mhm.
I have always been really, really curious and fascinated about learning about other people. So I
Mhm.
ask a lot of questions. Where did you come from? How did you get there? What's your journey? Like all the inappropriate questions about money and religion and politics. Like I'm just genuinely curious, like why people think the way they do and what got them to that journey. And I think it's fascinating when we all look at our journey, like where did we start? And then what were all the stops on the way? And what were all the decisions that had us go this direction instead of this direction? And
Mhm.
what if we had gone this direction instead of this direction? Like,
Mhm.
I love watching that entire journey of how people got where they're at. And everybody knows, the road to success is not a straight line, not even close. It's like,
It's
it's a
very,
big old scribbly mess.
yeah, it's very
But
convoluted.
there's something beautiful about looking at that scribbly mess and
Mhm.
going, huh, look at that. And then being grateful for that journey,
Mhm.
being grateful for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because
Mhm.
if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have become the people that we are to be on the trajectory that we're on. And if we don't like the trajectory we're on, okay, we'll change it. Right.
Exactly.
And the other piece is understanding that the five people you spend the most time with, your network is your net worth. And
Yeah.
so I took that very seriously because I have to tell you, as a child and growing up in and out of more homes than you can count, one of the gifts that I received is I did get to see how lots of different families lived,
Oh,
where
yeah.
most people are only in one family and they see how that family lives and that's it. I had the gift and opportunity to see all these other families. So my eyes were already opened at a very young age that there wasn't just one way to do something. There was multiple ways to have families, multiple ways to parent, multiple ways to have a marriage, multiple ways to have relationships. So understanding that and align with being curious about people, it
Mhm.
just has me be able to dig in even further and learn from more people about whatever their journey is. And one of the things I remember as a child, like I realized, I forget how old I was. I want to say I was like 11 or 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I realized, wait a second, I could learn from other people's stupid mistakes and not have to go that direction. I could go a different direction. I remember making that decision very early in life. And
Right.
so I had just made a decision that I was just going to be curious about people and find out all the
Mhm.
things that they did, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and
Mhm.
then do it different so that I didn't have to repeat the probable predictable future of some of these choices.
Well, quite
Right?
possibly when you were young, because you mentioned that you didn't start speak or reading until later in your
The 8th grade.
the eighth grade. So were you observing people even at that very young, tender age?
Yep.
Yes.
I was always observing. Well, I had to. I mean, it was
Mhm.
out of self-preservation. and
Mhm.
protecting my brothers and I. Like it was just a natural thing like I had to do, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm. So that's a personality trait I would like to adopt. Being a
Yeah.
real student of people and their lives and learning from other people, instead of having to go through their experiences myself, having
Right?
kind of sharing their experience with them and knowing how not to be or how to be, depending on what you're observing. Ah,
Well, and it's funny because was having a conversation last night with one of my business partners, and we were talking about how some people get so irritated that people don't think like them.
mm,
And it's interesting, we have a choice. When people think differently than us or do different life differently than us, we
mm,
have a choice to go, hmm, I could be highly irritated by this that they think differently, or I can be highly fascinated and entertained.
yes, if that's
Right? So, I think
mhm,
that's the other piece is, like, I choose to be fascinated and entertained by other people that do not think
mhm.
anything like me, and then I can learn more, where when we're, annoyed and irritated and really at the core of it, just making them wrong, we shut down, and there's nothing for us to learn, and we're not, naturally curious about, moving forward and
Right,
learning about them.
right. So you open up yourself to another way of thinking, a whole new
Yeah,
world to be able to expand into or not.
yeah,
At least exposing yourself to these experiences can give you that choice. And
right?
knowing what the outcome will be based on what other people's experiences have been
Yep.
teaches you so you can not make those mistakes or copy what is successful for those people.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're a very open-minded learner, continuously learning. Are
Well,
there
it's my source of entertainment.
You are a
It's
people
my
person.
favorite thing to learn, right? And
Yes,
yeah,
we have
just being curious about people. I mean, it I think when we and I've traveled the world quite a bit too, so I love different cultures and different countries and different, traditions. Like, I find it really fascinating. We
yeah,
all live on this same planet, and
yeah,
yet there's billions of different points of views, traditions, like, cultures, holidays, like, I find that fascinating,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, how cool is that?
It's very, very cool. And now that we're on the international realm here, have you ever thought of expanding overseas or at least teaching people in other countries some of the principles that you have learned?
I have not. Well, that's not true. So I have coached people for about 15 years and all
Mhm.
through Canada, United States, and Mexico. So North America,
Oh, okay.
I've definitely done that. So
Mm.
coached tens of thousands of people. That's been a lot of fun. But outside of that, I haven't had the privilege or pleasure
All
to
right.
coach anybody outside of that.
Yeah, you're plenty busy here. Well, tell us about your coaching then.
I so it was just something that I do for fun, and again, a lot of it's around mindset. And
Mhm.
I'm in a group right now that I coach every Tuesday, and people
Mhm.
come and I kick their butts and hold them
Uh-huh.
accountable, and they get homework every week, and they got to get it complete. And it's I think it just becomes it's I think I'm a natural born teacher, and one of the things that I did was very intentionally was when my twins were still at home. They were 16 years old. And I realized that, because my husband was gone, what was I going to do? And so my kids needed financial literacy because they weren't going to get it in school. My husband wasn't here. So clearly it was up to me. So typical teenagers, they weren't interested in hearing anything I had to say. They were doing the eye rolling or the Darth Vader breathing, you know. So I was like, here's the deal. You live under my roof, this is a dictatorship, this isn't a democracy, you got to follow my rules. So I said, every second Friday, you're at my dining room table, and here's the homework. You got to get the homework done, and you're going to come and I'm going to teach you financial literacy. So we did that for a couple of years. And eventually, obviously, they're out on their own doing their own thing. And my son's a US Marine, my daughter's, floating around. and figuring out what she's going to do, which, that's the age, this is the age to do it.
Mm.
And I got a call from my son a couple weeks ago, and he had just shared with me the long and short. He has taken some of the lessons and done some investing and done really, really well for himself.
Oh, excellent.
Just when I think that they weren't listening or paying attention, I mean, totally surprised at the results that are, that they're actually becoming productive, contributing members to society, which as a mom, that's what I want,
No,
right?
absolutely.
So I think that the teaching and the coaching is just a natural part of me. And I know that after my twins left home, 19 years of pouring everything into them, that
Mhm.
intense mom energy needed to go somewhere. So
Yes, it is. It needs to go somewhere, and they can replicate the
yeah,
teaching they have
I
learned.
think as moms, that's who we are. Like we just have to keep pouring. So, I just found another community and all these people to pour into and to keep coaching to.
Oh my
So yeah,
my God, that is amazing and tremendous. Such a generous
it's
person you
fun.
are. But yes, it's fun. You're
So
giving back
fun.
so hugely. And I wanted to ask though too, do you have any proteges? Anyone else that you're teaching to be like you?
I haven't found anybody this ambitious. Because the other side of it that let me share this too.
Okay.
I shared with you about, money is like oxygen. The more you have, the easier it is to breathe. And the more
Mhm,
you have, the easier you can breathe, the bigger the difference in the world you can make. So I have all these companies, we're doing all these things, all these investments.
mhm,
And the question is why? Why? It's always why. Why are we doing this? So I formed a nonprofit. And my nonprofit is called Bell Community Empowerment Foundation. But here's what it comes down to. Through my journey as a child, my journey of adopting my twins out of the foster care system, is that I learned that there's over 500,000 children in the US foster care system, and about 350,000 are available for adoption today. And it costs anywhere between 1,000 to 2,500 to adopt a child, depending on whatever state you're in.
mhm,
Now, here's the kicker. If these children do not get adopted by their 18th birthday, then what happens is they're handed a black trash bag. It's called Black Trash Bag Day. They're told to put all their belongings in it and then they're out. So statistically, here's what's happening. It's costing taxpayers billions of dollars to keep these kids into foster care. On their
mhm,
18th birthday, when they experience Black Trash Bag Day and they're out, they
mhm.
now end up homeless. 70% of the people who are homeless are from the foster care system.
Oh my gosh.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Now they end up homeless, drugs,
Mhm,
prostitution, trafficked, another epidemic, and incarcerated, costing taxpayers billions more. So
mhm,
here's the solution that I'm really, really clear all of us can absolutely impact today is that there's more than 350,000 congregations in this country. If each church takes on finding one family to adopt one child, we can get
mhm,
this done in our lifetime. But if
mhm,
you think about even bigger than that, what if, just what if, this is my why,
mhm,
what if 1% of those 350,000 children, that'd be 3,500 kids that grow up to be 3,500 adults that
mhm,
decide to go make a difference in the world?
mhm, mhm.
That is why I do everything I do.
Yeah.
So, for everybody listening, I really want you to dig in and really look at what your why is because I believe we all have one, right?
Mhm.
And how do we figure out what our why is? It's that little niggly that sits in the back of our mind that goes, why isn't somebody doing something about that?
Mhm.
That is your purpose.
Mm.
And the reason it was given to you and nobody else is
Mhm.
because literally you were designed to handle whatever that is. So you need to listen and then lean in and go make that impact you're here to make,
Oh,
right? Like that's where the true fulfillment, happiness, joy, that's what matters,
yes.
you know?
And maybe have more than one.
Right. Maybe we do have more than one.
Mhm,
Absolutely. But the point
mhm.
being, like, we all have a purpose and we're all here for a reason. So
Yes.
lean into it. Go
Yes.
make the difference you're here to make because that's where the true joy comes from of being of service and being a contribution,
Mhm,
you know?
mhm. Absolutely. You're noticing that something needs to be done. Maybe nobody else has noticed. And
Right.
so give voice to it and,
Right.
and just research it yourself so that you can better understand it and understand what your role could be. or that you want it. You can define what your role is to be.
Right. Like to your point, maybe
Mhm,
your role is to go help a nonprofit that's already doing that thing, right?
mhm,
That you can bring, breathe new life into it. You don't necessarily have to start one, but you can certainly go and support
mhm,
whatever the initiative that is
mhm,
on your heart so that
mhm.
you can be a part of making that difference,
Right, right, right.
you
And
know?
then coming full circle, how to bring money and attract investors maybe into the purpose, the cause that can help
Right.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Making that difference is everything.
So you have a foundation. Could you
I
walk
do.
us through from concept to execution? What happened?
So it,
You.
it it really came from my experience as a child and then my experience of adopting our twins
Mhm,
and realizing like the epidemic that's happening in this country with homelessness and
mm,
then also with human trafficking
mm,
and looking at like okay so like if you look at if you stop and look and think through all the steps along the way that has somebody become homeless or have somebody become trafficked, like at what point can we actually do something?
mhm,
So yes, there's services out there that can help kids after they've aged out of the system,
mm,
and that's being handled, and that's not what I'm called to. It's the piece before that. What if we catch them and adopt them and love them before
mhm,
that? Because
mhm,
then there's a whole psychology that happens inside of when children have like a home base and they
mhm,
have those relationships, what
mhm,
how that impacts their brain development, how that impacts them later in life. They always can go out into the world and come back because they always have that
mhm,
family to keep coming
mhm.
back to, right?
Right,
And
right.
that's the family piece. And people said, "Well, why don't you help the parents?" Sometimes the parents just they got some stuff going on and that's just not an option, right? But the option is like us, I was adopted by a loving family.
Yes,
My
yes.
I adopted my twins. Like we will forever be their family, right? No matter
Right.
what. They get to go out into the world and they get to come back.
Mhm.
Like this will always
Yeah,
be their home base.
yes,
So yeah.
yes, yes. Such a generous, um, generous mind and life you've led, and you are going to continue living. Can you, so convincing other people to follow is another skill set.
Convincing what do you mean convincing other people to follow?
Getting a followership, other people to also follow you and your purpose. How did you manage that, handle that, and grow your organization to what it is today? I know it's continuously
Just being me, it's all about relationships. Like my investors
evolving.
have been with me for like years and years and years, and they just keep reinvesting in all the things that we do and
Mhm,
making a difference, however it is that they're called to make the difference. So for me, it's like I just have personal relationships because I really care about them and their families and what they're up
mhm,
to. So it's
mhm.
not like I was like, I'm gonna create a following. Um, it's again, I think it comes out of just being naturally really curious and fascinated by people, you
Right,
know?
yes, and a doer. You're absolutely a person who gets into the thick of things
Right?
and just get your mind around it so that you can come up with solutions
Yep,
and work with other people, I imagine, to noodle with so you can kind of work it out and figure out how
absolutely.
what
Yeah,
goes where and who's going to do what. And there's a whole organization that you must have had to build to make this a really going concern.
team
And
and teamwork is everything for sure. There's no way I could do any of this alone. I have extraordinary people all around me that do amazing things to make all the things happen. For
Mhm.
sure. Again, it's like, I don't know how to do all the things,
Right,
but
right,
I
right.
found who can knows how to do all the things so that I can just stay focused in my lane. So let me give you an analogy.
Please.
So, it was probably I wanna say it was about a year ago or whatever, we were back east, And
Mhm.
if you've ever drove on the freeways back east, they're really, really fascinating.
Okay.
So they're different than here in Arizona. And here's how they're different is they literally had 8 lanes go in one direction, 8 lanes go in the other direction. But what was fascinating is so they have the HOV lane and then they have the regular car lanes. But on the far lane, they have these giant barriers with a lane on the other side of it. That lane was for semi trucks, like
Mm.
18 wheelers, like with this giant barricade. And I was watching, and literally everybody's flying like 80 miles an hour, like literally thousands of vehicles just
Mhm.
flying. And that's
Mhm.
looking at how seamless all of this was happening. And then I had a thought, what would happen if that semi decided it wanted to be in the HOV lane? Or what happened if somebody in the HOV lane decided it was going to be over in the 18 wheeler lane? Like,
Mhm.
what a ginormous train wreck that would cause. And I see a lot of people do that in their companies and in their families. They don't
Mhm.
stay in their own lane and just let everything flow the way it's to flow. They veer off and they go into other people's lanes, and there's these giant train wrecks that happen,
What a
right?
great visual. Right, what a
So
great visual.
a lot of people do that. They don't know their lane and they don't stay in their lane. They don't know other people's
Mhm.
lane and respect those people's lanes. We
Mhm.
can still communicate with them, but we don't have to go over into their lane,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So when we do that, I mean, it was a beautiful thing to literally see thousands of cars just
Yes.
flying down the freeway, going where they needed to go. Everybody
Mhm.
was doing their thing because
Mhm.
they were all staying in their lane.
Yes, yes, and in a way, in a huge way, cooperating, 'cause knowing the
Right.
same.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
working together to get
Yeah.
everyone to where they needed to be, for
Yeah.
sure.
Or the supplies that were being carried in the 18
Mhm.
wheelers, like everything. It was such a fascinating epiphany at that time. I mean,
Okay,
it just really sat with me and I was like, oh my gosh, there it is.
another wonderful piece of advice. You're full of rich nuggets of advice today, and I'm sure that you live with yourself and you live with these wonderful aphorisms and practices every day. It's very inspiring. I'm really moved by you and what you do.
Thank
Could
you. That's really sweet of you.
oh, yeah, my pleasure. You're welcome. That's you. I'm just describing what is and who you are. I wanted to find out more about where you got your financial education. I know you run a business.
Hmm.
Are there
It was
that you
so
would
it was a lot of self-education and a
recommend?
lot of personal development. So, some of the sources, this
Mhm.
is one of my latest books that I love,
Mhm.
and I
Uh,
invite everybody to get it. It's Tony Robbins,
oh, yes.
The Holy Grail of Investing. This is
Oh, yes.
powerful. He does a really great job talking about that we need to diversify, and we need to diversify into alternative asset classes,
Right.
which is what I do.
Yes,
So this is
exactly.
a huge affirmation.
Yeah.
My another one of my favorite authors is Keith Cunningham. So he wrote a couple business books, but one of my favorite is The Road Less Stupid. And what
Uh-huh.
he talks about, I love this. Everybody's so here's what I say. I say, listen to him, like do an audible version of it and listen to him because he reads it himself. And there's something about how he reads it. It is the only book I can listen to again and again. And he has me laughing out loud every time. The man is beyond hilarious. So his accent, everything. But what he does is he talks about that we need to give ourselves thinking time. This is really important. And when we do that, what happens is it allows us to flush things out and walk all the way through, different opportunities and different decisions because he says we don't need to be making more better decisions. We need to be making less stupid decisions and paying less stupid tax,
Oh.
right? Like how many times have we paid the stupid tax because we
Mm,
didn't stop and think the whole thing through,
mm.
right?
Mhm. And
So,
pay
I mean,
more
these are just
than
a few of some of my other favorite authors, Dan Kennedy. I love him. He's the no BS management, no BS. Like that was a game changer for me.
okay.
I've done a ton of personal development. I've done a personal, like, I have coaches coaching me all the time because again, I'm clear. I didn't come into this world knowing all the things, right? And so it's up to me to be able to look and go, huh, I don't know that. who already knows how to do that and can coach me
Mm-hmm.
on, you know, the financial literacy, understanding balance sheets, understanding financial statements, understanding P&Ls, like all of that. And to the point where I fell in love with numbers, to the point I think spreadsheets are like my love language.
We
And
heard that.
right.
I
And
love
then
spreadsheets too.
we, inside of that, the financial literacy piece, realizing that what's missing. So we just launched a new software. The company's called Sum Analytica. And here's what it is that in the real estate investing world, there's not, when it comes to KPIs, most companies have no idea what they need to be tracking or even are tracking it. So we created this fabulous KPI software for operators, real estate investors. And what's extraordinary about it is that it's this dashboard that lets them, it's green light, yellow light, red light. So what happens is they have all their numbers. And if it's good, it's green. If you need to stop and take a look, it's yellow. If it's red, you need to stop what you're doing. You need to drill down. And it shows you where to drill down to in those numbers. But
Mm,
here's what's even more cool. If somebody is an investor in on that deal, or is a general partner or a limited partner, they have access to the dashboard so they can see real time the reality of what's happening with their investment as well.
oh,
So I know that that would bring huge peace of mind to
mhm,
all the general partners and limited partners out there. And it's this whole other credibility thing that it brings to the operator. And
mhm.
they get to showcase and show off how well they're doing with all these deals and these projects.
Absolutely, and it
Right.
forces
And
you to pay attention to what needs to be paid attention to.
right. And
Yeah.
I had to learn all those things that I needed to be tracking inside of that. And inside of that, all the conversations, realizing how so many of the people have no idea of what it means or how to track and all of that. So that's why we put this together so that other people, it would help them. So they're learning it at the same time. It's teaching
Mhm,
them, but now they're running their company by the numbers. We
mhm,
always say in our company, do the numbers, numbers tell you what to do. And so
mhm,
this is a beautiful way to like keep investments
mhm.
on track and moving forward. So it's all through intentional. I know, like, there, what we know, what is it, we don't know, we don't know, and then we know what we don't know. And it was those things that I go, okay, I know that I don't know this, so I would go either take a course, read a book, get
Mhm,
coached, all of it,
mhm.
till I became proficient in it. Then I know what I know. Then, so I mean, that's pretty much how the whole thing happened.
Yes, yes. So you master it. So running a business by the numbers, knowing
Hmm.
the numbers in the first place,
Yep.
um, is and knowing what to pay attention to through your dashboard, so that you
Right.
can take action right away. So I'm sure the yellow is like a flag. Yeah, hey, 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 and the red is also an alert. You need to pay attention to this right now.
Yep.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't wait. Take it, pay attention and do something right now to fix this.
It's really important.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
really important. So that's what if we had a red light, green light, yellow light for our lives,
Right.
or our
Yes.
yes, 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 or our financial management of our
Yes.
own budgets, our own expenses, and how we're
Yes.
managing our money at home. So, can we talk a little bit now about money management?
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely. It's my favorite conversation.
perfect. Mine too.
So I think the biggest thing to understand for money management is, one, nobody's going to care more about your money than you, right?
True. Right.
So it's our job, if we imagine money as like little minions, and
Mhm.
if we can send those minions out there to go make friends and bring back more minions, how
Mhm.
fun is that? Right? That's like the simplest version. So understanding, again, it's like when people understand your earned income is meant to buy assets that provide passive income, then your
Mhm.
passive income pays for your lifestyle.
Mhm.
That is you sending money out there and having it
Mhm.
come back with lots of friends,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Like,
Yeah,
that's
right.
a really important piece to understand. That is the purpose of your money. Your money
Mhm.
isn't meant to be earned and then spent on whatever. Like,
No.
we have to be really intentional about it. And there's so many apps and tools and courses and everything that's out there. This day and age, it does not make sense for people to be financially illiterate.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than enough tools out there to be able to teach people how to make their money grow and grow responsibly. And that's the other piece. It's like, understand everything takes time to build. Nothing is overnight. Nothing is instant.
Mm-hmm.
So having that patience and having the long game in place. And again, ask yourself, if the average millionaire has 7 streams of passive income, how many do I have and how many do I want? And then who has a passive streams of income that I can plug into to create those for my family, right?
Absolutely.
Smarter, not harder.
Yes. Do you have financial education apps that you would recommend?
Right now, I don't, because we're doing all our stuff. I mean, yeah, I know that there's lots out there. I've heard of them, but I don't have anything that's coming to top of mind, because it's not what I do.
People can Google.
You can Google them. For sure. And look at all the reviews. Like, people will tell you, it's what I love about this day and age. Like, look at all the reviews. People will tell you exactly like what's going on. So yeah, I would and ask around. Here's the other thing I would do is, like, again, start asking successful people, what is it that they use? What is it that they do? How did they make their money? Right? And you get so many fascinating answers.
Right.
And then, go check it out. Go do your own research. Like, why not?
Yes. Right? And good point too. Make sure that the person you're listening to has proven themselves with their experience.
Yes, that is a really critical piece. Yes, let me say that. That's a really important point that you pointed out. This is paramount. So here's paying the stupid tax. When it comes to getting coaches, mentors, paying for courses, anything like that, here's what I always ask. I have my conditions of satisfaction because I paid the stupid tax. And so the first question is the person that I'm paying for the coaching or mentoring or course, how is it that they're earning a majority of their income? Is it coming from the teaching of the course, or is it coming from doing the thing that they're teaching the course about? It needs to come from the thing, not the teaching of the course, because there's so many people out there teaching the course but have zero experience in doing the thing. And it is a huge disservice, but it's very real. And anybody who's taken a course and done the research. So let me tell you a story. So we, way back when, the very beginning, we got we did the Carleton Sheets, no money down or whatever. And that was decades ago. And we had a coach that came along with it. She coached us through the whole thing. Nothing ever came of it. And so, all that happened. Fast forward 10 years later, another course, a famous one, and has a purple cover. Anyway, there's a coaching program. And so get on the phone, and crazy enough, same coach.
Wow.
Same person, different company. Only this time the question was, how many of these deals have you personally done? Answer, 0. Like, that is a massive red flag. So that's the first question that I ask. The second question is, I need to speak to 3 people that they have directly worked with in the last 6 to 12 months that commas have been added to their, like, the person's bank account as a direct result of working with that particular coach, mentor, teacher, whatever. And most of them cannot produce that. That is a massive red flag.
Yes, it is.
Do not pay the stupid tax and be somebody's guinea pig. Don't do that. Let them, if they want to have the course or whatever, let them work it out. Let them figure it out. But don't be the big guinea pig that's like working it out. Don't do that. So yeah, don't pay the stupid tax.
Okay, well, we'll not pay the stupid tax.
Yeah.
You're a wonderful storyteller. I could listen to you for hours.
Oh.
I'm sure you've got there's plenty more.
So, I have thousands of stories. Yes,
you do. You've got plenty of. This is like 40 years of experience. that we have
It's
been
more than that, but yeah.
more than that. Okay, more than that, that we've been gifted with today. I really,
Mm.
really appreciate your being on the show, and I'd love to keep in touch with you and perhaps have you
Yes,
back if you want to share some more. Um,
absolutely.
and yes, you're a wonderful human being besides being a
Mm.
really astute and savvy investor. And
Thank you. Well, I love being here. I love yours and my
oh,
conversations. We've
thank
had
you,
so
thank you.
many that have been so juicy. I wish we lived
Okay.
closer
Oh,
together.
yes, yes, I know. I think we're kind of twins in a little
Yep.
kind of way. And I feel complimented by that. Thank you so much for
Of
that.
course.
So, how can people be coached by you?
Um,
You're so busy.
I Yeah, I mean, I'll do one-off coaching and stuff. I don't have a consistent coaching program just because of everything I do. I mean, I do help people do blueprints for their financial investing so they can understand, listen, these are the steps, the simple steps you can take so that you
Mm,
can start making those passive streams of income. So you can go to my website, titanimpactgroup.com,
okay.
um, and you can book a call there. This is, I think, I hold on, let me show you.
And I'm running a tape underneath this that shows your website and your phone
I
number.
love it.
Yeah.
So, I thought I could show you, but it doesn't
Oh,
look like. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, can you see that? It's a QR code.
oh, yes, I can. Yes, we can. So,
So that is so they can, if they want to scan that, they're welcome to, and it takes them right to my calendar, and they can have all
oh,
sorts of fun
awesome.
booking calls.
Very good. Very good.
The age of digital.
Yes, it's amazing. And I'll have to tell you, everyone, Catherine is on time every time. Whatever's in her
It's true.
calendar, she is on time. And it's a wonderful, rich moment, rich time with her, too. As you can tell, there's
We
a
have
lot
amazing conversations.
there.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. There's a lot that she can teach and share and tell us about so that we can incorporate what she has learned into our lives.
Absolutely. Multiple streams of income so you can make that difference.
Yes,
That's what it's all about.
yes, and create wealth for yourself, not just for
And
your
your family.
generation, but yes, for future generations as well.
Yeah. Yep.
We're coming to the close of the hour, sadly.
Yes.
I could listen to you for hours, as I said. Is there anything else that you would like people to know about wealth that would help them or that you would like them to know about you?
So I have several resources on my website that you're welcome to, different books and stuff that I wrote that you just go download them for free. I believe everybody needs them, and to understand how simple it is to, start investing. And again, I don't share my story to scare you. I share it to hopefully educate and empower you to create those multiple streams of income because the reality is we have no guarantee of tomorrow or what life's going to be, but if we handle that piece of it, at
Mhm.
least when life happens, we have that breathing room,
Yes.
right? So it's yeah,
You live
it's important.
a purposeful life.
Yeah.
And I
Life's
just
too
want to
short.
life is too short. And I do want to
Yep.
mention to the audience that one of the books that you can download from the TitanImpactGroup.com website is a book called Inhale, Impact, Exhale, Opportunity. I
Yep.
recommend it. I reckon it's one of those must read books too. In
Thank
addition
you.
to those that Catherine shared with us today, stock your library with the books that you heard about today, and you'll be better off.
I love it.
Oh, me too. I love it. Okay, well, I think that's it for today, and we look forward to having you back when you're able to. I'm very grateful that you took the time today to be
Are
with
you
us.
kidding? This was a gift for me.
Oh,
Thank you. You had me like stop all the crazy things I'm doing and just this was amazing. So thank you. This is
yeah.
a massive gift for me. I
Oh,
love our conversations.
oh, as do I. So the broadcast will be available on YouTube, and I'll give everyone the address. And also, we're going to share snippets across social media so that other people can benefit from Catherine's wisdom.
I love
and
it.
her aphorisms too. Money is like oxygen. Okay, that's a must remember.
Absolutely. I love it.
I love it too. Well, thank you, Catherine. We'll say goodbye for
Yes.
now. And I'll just say to the rest of the audience, join us again next week at the same time. We're going to be hosting Lana Fink, she's the TEDx coach. And she became a TEDx coach in less than a year. She's also a Toastmaster. So it's not like she hasn't spoken to people before, but listen in if you want to improve your speaking style. Okay. Thank you so much, Catherine.
Thank
And
you.
Nicole. We'll
Love
be
it.
love it too. Okay. Take care.
Bye, honey.
Bye-bye, sweetheart. Okay, everybody. Thanks again for joining us today. And I hope that you will join us again next time.